How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and a couple of days ago I made a video on how to fix Mortal Kombat 11. And in the comment section, a lot of you also had some really good ideas on how to improve this game, and a topic that was brought up all the time was throws. And it seemed like the general consensus was that throws are too strong in Mortal Kombat 11. However, is that really the case? Well, let's go ahead and make a discussion about it. Let's begin by talking about why throws are great, because I agree that throws have some really good things going for them. For starters, unblockable 140 damage. That ain't too bad. And for some characters like Garrus and Sub-Zero, the forward throw actually keeps you really close, so they can just keep doing it over and over again until you counter it. And then once you have the corner advantage, this becomes true for pretty much everybody on the roster. If you land a forward throw in the corner and the opponent doesn't have bar, they have to either neutral duck or jump or something, because you're going to keep throwing them over and over again. So right off the bat, we know that throws do really decent damage and are also great for applying pressure in certain situations. However, on top of that, in this game, throws are also a 50-50. You actually have to guess, which is actually very rare for fighting games. I can't think of too many, especially 2D fighting games where you have to guess on what throw it is. But in this game, the back throw and the forward throw have the exact same animation. There's no way to actually know which one I'm doing. So not only do throws do decent damage and are also great for pressure in certain situations, but it's also a coin flip. You have to guess every single time. And then on top of all of that, if you guess incorrectly against most characters, they gain access to a crushing blow. And boy howdy, do these crushing blows do a lot of damage. Check this out. Keep in mind this is all unbreakable too. Bam, 31%, look at that. That is a lot of damage. Like, that is no joke. Just for some perspective, check it out. Here's a bread and butter with Frost. And it's a pretty long combo too. Frost has combos, which is one of the reasons I love her. But check this out, not even 28%, and that was one bar in what, like 14 plus hits? That's pretty crazy. In fact, even in the corner, I can't actually break 30% in this variation, I don't think. Let's go ahead and see though. Now, I'm not doing the optimal jump in, but let's be real, jumping 2 kinda sucks. And as you can see, still not even 30%, 29, and I'm not complaining, that's okay, and the combo's a lot of fun, but just for perspective, this throw does 31%. So in other words, if I find myself in a Frost mirror match and I do a wicked long combo, all the opponent has to do is land that crushing blow throw, and they've already done more damage to me with one button. Now thankfully, there is one tiny silver lining. Most characters can only crushing blow in one direction, either a forward throw or a back throw. So once you see the escape failed on screen, you know the next throw is going to be that direction, and you can just try and break it. However, if you're fighting a character like Frost, both of my throws actually crushing blow, whether it's forward or back, so it's a second coin toss, and you're gonna lose 31% just for guessing wrong on a single button. So with all of that in mind, I don't think anybody could argue that throws are not strong in this game, but with that said, they do have some weaknesses, so let's talk about that. For starters, the recovery. I'm gonna hold up and look how long it takes Frost to actually jump if she misses the throw. 34 frames of recovery, that's quite a lot of time, and that's important, because a lot of players, when they get thrown, their instinct is to uppercut, right? They avoid the throw, they hold down, they uppercut, because that leads to a crushing blow. Now the problem is, if the opponent has breakaway, that actually won't give you very much damage. So real quick, a hot tip, I recommend actually going for a full combo instead when the opponent misses their throw. Once again, you have 34 frames to actually punish them. It may not seem like a lot of time, but I assure you it actually is. It's over half a second, in fact, to punish them. And in fact, for some characters like Jackie, you actually have to, because she punches straight up. Her uppercut pretty much never hits anybody if they miss their throw. And then on top of that, certain characters like Liu Kang will actually reel backwards when they miss their throw, which means uppercutting them doesn't even work unless your character has a really far-reaching uppercut. So to everybody watching this video, I want you to make a conscious effort to neutral duck and then full combo punish throws starting from here on out instead of doing the uppercut, because after that crushing blow is gone, you're not getting very much damage, and in fact, if they have breakaway, you're still not getting very much damage. Don't get me wrong, the uppercut crushing blow can be very good depending on the character, as long as the opponent doesn't have 2 bars of defensive meter. But for every other situation outside of that, you really are better off going for your max damage combo when you duck a throw. And the reason I bring all of this up is because if you duck that throw, you can still get a pretty decent damage combo, right? But once again, my best combo with Frost didn't do very much damage, did it? About 28% in the corner? Now I could duck the throw and possibly land this, which otherwise you would never normally land that string, but if I did, I get a bit more damage with that starter. But as you can see, still not as much damage as that throw crushing blow. but let's assume that they didn't get an escape fail. That's still a pretty big risk, right? So while throws are pretty strong, there is a lot of risk to them too. They can get uppercutted, crushing blowed, or they can get a full combo punish if they go for a throw and the opponent predicts it. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that throws are just a guaranteed win button. There actually is a lot of risk every time you go for a throw. Now with that said though, the only real way to actually get this punish is to just hold down and not block, which means you give up everything, every defensive option. If the opponent goes for a mid, and some characters have very fast mids, they get a full combo on you just because you're trying to avoid that throw and the potential crushing blow that comes after. And that's why at high level play, you see most players will actually just block and then try to break the throw. They pretty much never go for the neutral duck because that combo is just too much depending on the character they're playing against, right? Especially characters like Jackie. Anybody with an unbreakable combo you can't escape, it's just not worth the risk to try and neutral duck, and that's why throws become even stronger. So in my honest opinion, while throws do have a lot of risk, the reward is just way too much, so just keep going for it, right? Why not? And that's the real issue we have. The risk and reward aren't quite even, so I do agree with most people when they say throws are a bit too strong in Mortal Kombat 11. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about some ways that throws could be nerfed without changing the game too much. Now, one idea people have right away that I see come up all the time is to just reduce the damage a little bit. And I'll be honest, this might sound crazy, but when I played MKX, the throws only do about 2% less damage, but even so, I was much less nervous whenever a throw caught me. Whereas when I get thrown in this game, I get anxiety right away. I don't know about anyone else, but they just make me stressed out almost immediately. And seeing as how throws really are a 50-50 in any given situation, I think reducing the damage a little bit could be a good idea. Or at the very least, I think the damage on the crushing blows could be reduced quite a bit. I'd say around 22% at the lowest and 25% at the most. I don't think a throw crushing blow should do more damage than a majority of combos, especially combos that require meter. So even if you don't agree that the base throw damage should be nerfed, I think we can all agree that reducing the damage on the crushing blows is a pretty decent idea. In fact, I would actually go a step further and say that any character who can throw in both directions for a crushing blow should have that damage reduced even more so. So if the typical crushing blow in one direction only does like 25%, then characters like Liu Kang, Frost, and Sindel who can crushing blow in both directions, their crushing blow throw should only do about 22% or possibly even lower. And in fact, if we keep that line of reasoning going, I think certain characters with very unique throw crushing blows that can only happen in certain variations like Jackie, I think their crushing blow should do the most damage. Still not 30%, but maybe around 25, while everyone else gets around 23 or 22, and then characters who crushing blow in both directions only get about 20. I think that would make a lot of sense for the crushing blows in this game. However, even though everybody is pretty quick to talk about nerfing the damage, it's not the only option that NetherRealm could take. One more good idea I saw in the comments section was that throws should miss a character who is doing any crouching attack, not just a neutral crouch. So to explain what I mean, let me go ahead and have Devora do the online special, the down one into throw. This is super strong because on hit, it snuffs pretty much anything else I go for. If I mash, at most I'm getting a breaker. And then at worst, I'm getting an escape failed if I mash an uppercut and just mistime it. Now to be fair, you should never mash uppercut, but once again, the fact that your only option is to hold down to avoid this throw is a bit crazy. Otherwise, you open yourself up to the possibility of a escape failed and then a crushing blow that comes later. So honestly, the idea that any crouching attack would beat a throw is interesting because the idea of a throw is supposed to be to open up the opponent's defense. But in its current state, it actually stops offense as well, including attacks. So I don't think throws are meant to really work that way. They're meant to actually open up the opponent's defense. So as long as I'm going on the offense, even if it's just crouch poking, I wouldn't be throwable in that state, and that would actually make a lot more sense with how throws are supposed to work. Once again, they're supposed to be when the opponent is blocking, not when the opponent is trying to press a button. I don't have a problem with them catching like standing attacks. That actually makes sense to me, even though it can look goofy from time to time when the opponent sucks you in because they catch the very tip of your hitbox. But I actually find that kind of hype ever since games like Street Fighter. I found it really cool when someone catches you with a throw while you're standing, but the idea of crouching attacks, avoiding throws indefinitely is actually a pretty interesting idea, because now the opponent couldn't just do down one into throw all the time, and you wouldn't be forced to just neutral duck to avoid that throw, or just try to guess which direction they're throwing you. Instead, you could still go on the offense if you think the opponent is going for that. And that works really well, I feel, for the meta of this game overall. But if you have any more great ideas on how to nerf throws in Mortal Kombat 11, please post in the comment section down below, and if you think throws are fine the way they are, please state your case down below as well. I'd love to read your thoughts and opinions on this discussion. And then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.